Hello, everyone. We're about to start our presentation on how Freshservice simplifies IT service management with intuitive AI. I'm your host, David Apple. I've spent over 15 years helping customers evaluate IT service management solutions, working for different software vendors over that period. Most recently, I've spent the last 10 years with Flycast Partners in different operational and customer-facing roles. Typically, as a customer advocate, I'm helping organizations realize different types of materials and strategies in your IT service management and ITIL journey. And on the call with us today, we have Brian Graham. Brian spent a long time as an IT project manager for various large billion-dollar retail organizations that have stores across the US. He's also spent time in IT operations as a cloud infrastructure engineer. And most recently, Brian's been helping guide at Flycast our service management customers, guiding them through their ITIL maturity and ways to realize the benefits of ITIL best practices and the solutions we provide. Brian, welcome to the call today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, David.
So, Brian, before we dive too deeply into AI and the topic today, I want to just give everybody who's not familiar with Flycast an overview of who we are. We have been around since 2011. We work with over 1,800 companies in that span, helping them implement IT service management and enterprise service management processes and solutions. We also are helping our clients adopt those new practices through organization change management consulting as well. Most recently, we've been working with Freshworks and the Freshservice solution, being recognized by Freshworks as their ITSM Strategic Partner of the Year, 3 years running. We have a lot of people on the call today who use Freshworks or Freshservice, but we also have a mix of organizations that are using different solutions. And for those organizations not familiar with Freshworks, I just want to give a brief overview, Brian, before we dig into the AI talk. So
Absolutely.
Freshworks was founded in 2010, a similar time frame that Flycast was around, and Freshservice product launched in 2014. They went public in 2021, and really one of the fastest growing service management solutions on the market today. Many of our clients on legacy solutions have been looking at and choosing Freshservice as their go forward strategy, mostly around the ease of use, ease of implementation, and receiving a great return on investment when you're trying to follow those ITIL best practices and processes throughout the organization. Brian, I know that's what you've been helping clients with the past few years, mostly around Freshworks and Freshservice. But tell me a little bit about what you've seen lately from clients and Freshservice.
You're exactly right. It's been easy to recommend Freshservice. When you compare it to some of the legacy vendors in the space, the intuitive UI, the fast time to value, but specifically recently, we've seen that transition really explode in growth, mostly due to the practical way Freshworks has implemented AI into the solution and really empower their agents, their end users, and their management teams using the product.
You're right. That's been one of the hot topics, right, for a lot of organizations. And some of the ways we're seeing Freshworks is not just by having AI in their tool as something organizations can adopt, but Freshworks is really taking the time to speak with industry experts and understand and convey the message of the most practical ways to leverage AI for organizations. Recently, Freshworks put out this global AI workplace report. It's an awesome read. There's a link in the presentation. We're happy to send that out to anybody who requests it so you can download and read the full report. But some of the cool statistics in there, are real use cases of how their clients are realizing, um, metrics of how they're gaining benefits from leveraging AI. You can see increase in productivity, better work, quality work from your clients, from your agents, and improve customer engagement. Brian, I know you're going to go over some of the examples of how those clients are receiving those benefits of using AI in Freshservice. Before we get to that, before we talk about our recommended steps, I just have to vent a little bit about some of the pitfalls we're seeing in talking to clients in their AI journey. The first piece, one thing to avoid is to fall for that pie in the sky example that a lot of software companies are providing. AI can do some great things now, but a lot of the stories everyone wants to tell are the state of AI probably 3 or 5 or 10 years from now, right? Where you're waking up and somehow it's going to be a snow day, so AI has already synced up with getting a report that the schools are closed and your kids are going to be home all day because you work from home, and it's already updated your calendar and changed up and opened up a meeting when you normally pick up your kids. That sounds awesome. And that's what some software companies are pitching, but that's not what those solutions are doing today. And that's what not organizations aren't able to do today. That's where this will eventually go. So big recommendation when you're evaluating different AI solutions on the market, don't just go for the greatest story you hear. Really look for the organizations that are helping their clients realize results now. Because a lot of people on the call today that are in leadership, you don't necessarily have 3 to 5 years to have a great AI story. You're going to need to show some results in between now and that great end state that we all believe AI will get us to. Another area, and I've sat in a lot of conferences hearing from different leaders in the AI space, and there's a big consensus that really the approach should not be let's implement AI to replace headcount, because AI right now cannot think as critical as most of the people you have on your teams, right? You're not going to replace people in a way that you hired them for. A lot of people on this call, when we applied to a certain position, there was a job description. That's what we were hired to do. And after we took the job, things changed and we started getting more and more tasks that are not part of our job description, but they're things we have to do. There's times where I'm trying to sync calendars with 8 or 9 people in an organization to book one single meeting. Well, that task is something that really my company is not paying me to do that. They're paying me to do research, to have presentations like this, to talk with customers. What if we can automate those tasks, right? Let's automate tasks, not people in our approach. And finally, this is something I think, Brian, you'll elaborate to deeper into the conversation. We have to avoid I just bought a AI tool. I'm going to turn it on and everything's going to work and we're going to be great. Just like when IT service management tools were ensuring that they could follow the ITIL best practices and help companies guide through that. We used to have a saying, a fool with a tool is still a fool. And that series, we used to talk to customers about, you don't just purchase ITSM software and everything works well. You have to look at the underlying processes for your organization. Then you use a tool to help provide governance and automation for that. Same applies to AI. You really want to have an AI strategy where you can, and then you want to find solutions that can come over top and support those processes that you're looking to achieve. So we're we're not going to dig into too many more slides, I promise. We're going to let Brian actually demo some use cases pretty soon. Well, we want to give everybody our value add steps to leveraging meaningful AI. This is not your entire AI strategy, but this is for organizations that are looking to put their toe in the water with AI and actually see some results so that you are supported in swimming further down into the pool all the way to the deep end eventually. The first step is we talk to clients about identifying repeatable use cases that you're going to leverage AI for, right? You want to look at those tasks that are being done that you really don't need to have people doing, that you're wasting their time, your employees' time, your agents' time, your leadership's time in doing. Find those, look for the ones that have low complexity as well, so that they're well suited for the automation. And this goes to the next point of having something easy to deploy that focuses on accuracy. Nothing is worse when you get on with a chatbot as an end user and you ask it a question that you think is very simple, but the chatbot just doesn't recognize it because maybe it is unique to that chatbot. It's not a predictable answer that it has. And it just constantly tells the end user, sorry, I don't understand. That can be very frustrating for end users. And you can create some prompts where that's when you want to get the end user to a human interaction. Try to focus on things that the chatbot or the AI can actually solve for with a good deal of accuracy. As you start to identify those use cases that you want to use AI for, try to prioritize those by items that you can take actionable measurements on to see the results. There's going to be some items that are great stories to tell with AI, but if they're not actually showing value to the business, then you're not going to have any way to measure how well this is working. And finally, once you've seen the data, seen the results, you need to incorporate continuous improvement throughout every area that you have AI implemented to. And finally, the last one that isn't on the screen here, is kind of the bonus number 5, is you always want to be thinking about who AI is benefiting in your organization, whether it's internal people or external end users. And these are some of the examples we're going to give today that Brian's going to walk through, talking about how AI, specifically AI that Freshservice provides, is going to help business leaders as well as the admins and the agents that are servicing the customers, and how the end users are going to interact and potentially see benefits from AI.
Thanks, David. And yeah, I mean, if you think about AI and the capacities that it's offered in Freshservice, it really is aimed at these three personas. And so if you think about that as it relates to business leaders or front of line managers in IT, things like serving you AI insights, where yes, maybe you can monitor your metrics through reporting and analytics, but what if you had Freddy AI looking behind the scenes and serving you up curated reports that show you the outliers or some identifiable trends and patterns in your ticket data. We can do that with Freddy AI Insights. And then as it relates to admins and agents, we're really going to give you a holistic suite of tools that all kind of encompass AI and allow you to be as efficient as possible as you are working through your tickets, allowing you to kind of respond quickly and accurately, adjust tonality and find the right answers for your end users as an agent. We do that through Freddy AI Copilot. And then lastly, the end users themselves. We see a lot of teams that would like to serve a chatbot kind of experience that intelligently can parse through what lives in your knowledge base and your service catalog to help those end users find their answers quickly in a channel they already work in all day. We do that through Freddy AI Agent. And so happy to kind of get started here and jump in today. I'll start sharing my screen. And I've got the Freddy AI admin panel pulled up. And I've also got my service bot channel in Microsoft Teams pulled up, where we have Freddy AI agent enabled. And so I've kind of got a prompt here already. I just want to show you how, if I, as an end user, needed help, Freddy could help me find those answers through what lives, again, in my knowledge base and also in the service catalog. And so I have a prompt here around my VPN connection dropping every 30 seconds. I'm asking Freddy. It doesn't have to have appropriate punctuation or anything. It will kind of, regardless, look at the context of what you're saying, and then neatly parse out the most relevant steps that live in that knowledge base there. So you see, it's been able to find a source here, VPN issues and troubleshooting guide. And this is still going to be conversational in a way that allows the end users to really feel like they found everything they need when they interact with Freddy AI agent. Maybe I say something like, I tried all that and it still doesn't work. Freddy can contextually, again, now it knows the things it's recommended and that you've tried that. It can intelligently recommend some other actions to take. And at any point in this interaction, if I feel like, I just want to submit my ticket, or if Freddy just naturally runs out of things to suggest, you can immediately pivot to raise that ticket. Again, just looking at the context of what's happening there, it says, okay, here, we can present that ticket form to you right here in Teams. And what's also happened is the description has summarized the entire interaction. And so it's got the fact that I tried all those steps that were recommended, that they also recommended things like checking the router, restarting it. And so the end user doesn't have to rephrase or retype what they've just went through in their interaction. Freddy's taking care of that for them, and they could submit the ticket from here. So just one way I think you can help give that productivity back to your agent teams, if you've got knowledge and you've got a great, robust service catalog, we can easily serve those through this kind of chat experience in an app like Teams, also in Slack. And then if we look at the rest of our admin panel here, we mentioned Copilot earlier. We're not going to have time to show you all of the features here, but I do want to show you some of the most impactful ones that really give the agents working these tickets the most time back. And so if we think about things like when they're working in a ticket, I've got a couple of ticket examples pulled up here. And so if I go to my details tab on this ticket, happens to be a major incident, you can see our Freddy logo kind of highlighting where the AI functionality lives now in a ticket. And so maybe I'm the level 2, level 3 engineer assigned to come take a look at this ticket. Maybe the other levels have looked at it, not quite sure where to go from here. And so maybe after 20 replies, I would rather Freddy provide a summary to me of what's happened to this point. In a single click, I can get about 5 or 6 bullet points that give me some context and help me know where to jump in in my helping them troubleshoot this ticket now, rather than trying to read back and forth through all the agent and end user responses below. And then purposefully, I'm going to actually jump over to the resolution tab, because similar functionality here, where maybe when a ticket is wrapped up and I want kind of a nice, short, sweet recap of everything that's happened, I can single click and ask Freddy to compile the root cause, the actions we took, and the resolution itself. And it's still open in a way that if I needed to add or edit to this, give it some more context, I can do so as an agent. And this is really important, not just for the agents that might come along and see this later on, but it really helps Freddy as well gain the context generally around what happens and how you fix it in your environment. And so you can save and append this to the ticket as well. Just a really good practice to have, even without AI. Definitely recommend using this as well. And then maybe it is time to jump in and respond on a ticket to an end user. When you do that, remember, we can use obviously what lives in our knowledge base. That's been in the product for a long time, where you can look at suggested solution articles. But now Freddy again can help us generate our responses. And I'll hover here for a second. You can see the knowledge base and those resolution notes we just looked at on the other ticket example. can serve as sources when we are generating replies to our end users now. And so in a single click here, for this ticket around poor audio in Microsoft Teams, I've got steps 1 through 7. Now, in my example, it happens to be referenced mostly from a supporting solution article, but there was enough volume of this kind of issue happening and tickets being resolved by agents where there was enough dialogue back and forth and a general pattern, Freddie would be able to identify that and source that from those resolution notes just the same. So, very impactful in terms of productivity and helping the agents resolve their tickets quickly, and ultimately serve the right resolution steps to end users. But maybe it's not even time to do this. Maybe after all, on this ticket, if you see there's no conversation history, it's just the initial description from the end user. Maybe I need more information. Now I can ask Freddie to come up with the wording there. I don't have to, you know, generate my grammatical mistakes as I type things out as an agent. That's automatically provided for me, nice and clean. Or maybe because the end user in this case happens to be a VIP, and you see that denoted on the Freshservice tickets in a couple of spots here. You can actually rephrase, expand the text, or turn the tonality to something more professional. Maybe you want to do that for your VIPs. Let Freddie come up with the wording there and kind of rephrase that for the agent. So just a lot of features here, especially as it relates to replies and making sure we understand what's happening on a ticket. And then separately, there's also similar ticket suggester here where maybe I'm a new agent and I don't have the first clue about how we resolve these kinds of tickets in the environment. Instead of searching on my own until I find enough similar tickets, Freddie can do that for me as well, where it will look and say, hey, you've got 3 that are open, but you've got 19 that are actually already resolved. And so maybe you yourself can arrive at, some general pattern that we take on these types of tickets, even as a new agent, and begin to start, providing your value and troubleshooting because you understand from these relevant examples how we do that. So, but if it hasn't been apparent already, a lot of times knowledge helps support what Freddie can do. And so we go back to our admin panel here. We've shown you quite a few features: writing assistant, reply suggester. We showed you the ticket summary, resolution note generator, similar ticket suggester. But one that we skipped over here that I think is really impactful is this solution article generator.
So, Brian, this piece right here, you're hitting on a great topic. Even before AI, we as a ITSM consulting company, knowledge articles and knowledge base was one of the most underutilized pieces most of our clients had prior to talking to us. This is a great resource to help build that knowledge base for your entire ITSM system and really get results where you're going to really help the mean time to resolution on a lot of common and mundane service requests or tickets that are coming through, correct?
Absolutely. What you probably noticed in a couple of spots earlier is that the knowledge base really helps to serve the agent, or in Freddy AI agent, that knowledge base can be neatly parsed and served directly to end users. And so you might be asking yourself, well, how do I create this super robust knowledge library so that I can support these great AI features and functionality in the platform? Again, Freddie can help us there as well. And so, just as a general example, if you come, obviously you can come here and type a title and kind of write out your own article, attach files, insert screenshots. This can be created in rich text. But if you needed a jump start, Freddie can provide that for us. And so, as a general topic, I want to show you how Freddie can do that for us, and maybe something that's quite common, almost like the password reset example that's kind of plagued many IT teams over the years. Maybe nowadays it's more related to multi-factor authentication resets. We see that a lot with the teams and the customers we work with. And so, what about something like this, where I say, something like this, where Freddie will look at our ticket data, but also at public data if we need to, and instantly within 5 or 6 seconds come up with the format and the general flow of that knowledge related to the prompt you supplied. And really, we see a lot of teams feel like this gives them the 80 or 85% they would need in their knowledge article, where all they have to do is supplement with screenshots and arrows and things like that to make the content even more rich. Helps you create, as an administrator, that knowledge much more quickly with less effort too. So you can really see yourself building out the knowledge library you need to serve the end users and the agents with all the Freddy AI functionality. And then the last piece I think we wanted to show today, just going back to our admin panel, Freddy AI insights and how that can help the manager teams as well around the service desk. And so if we wanted to actually pivot over to the Freddy module here, you can see some examples or samples rather of how that works. When in your environment, you would probably have higher volumes to see things beyond the samples here. But just to show you an example of that, this is very good at looking at all the metrics that are around the ticket data at the service desk. And as a sample here, we're looking at an outlier where resolution time in business hours was unusually high for this previous week. And you can see that graphically represented here where tickets shot up from 19 hours to almost 2 days. And so what does that mean? Freddie can obviously, I mean, you as a manager can obviously go to the reporting and analytics module, and then if you've designed them in the right way, probably arrive at this, maybe. But for Freddie to neatly say, hey, I've captured this, graphically represented it here, and it also provides some analysis for why that may have happened in terms of the uptick in volume, the different statuses, the different teams it moves through, even recounting some of the metrics around that uptick and outlier metric, and then really kind of representing it here in terms of a flow that shows how those tickets moved, status teams up from the normal volume that it's used to seeing. So I think this does an excellent job of helping the manager teams, the manager layer understand maybe there is a strategic change, maybe giving you a good starting point to understand if we need to make some kind of strategic change based on this uptick. Freddie can provide that for you all on its own, just working behind the scenes and compiling the data and analyzing it for you. So David, I think that's everything I wanted to show there as it relates to, the Freddie admin panel. I know we don't have time to show everything today, do we?
No, we're actually pretty much out of time. I'm glad you went through some extra examples that we didn't actually talk about prior to this webinar. I know a lot of these you can dig under the covers a little bit deeper. Since we are out of time, I see some questions have been sent through the webinar. We probably don't have time to answer those, so I'm just going to recap everybody who did submit questions. We will reach out to you, try to answer those the best we can. For those who, whether you use Freshservice or another solution, Flycast, we can help you in a lot of different ways. We can help with ITIL best practices, ITIL training, process improvement. We could also take you through, and Brian can show you more in Freddy AI through Freshworks. We can also show you different things that the Freshservice solution can do for your organization and how it can really expand across multiple departments for onboarding human resources, facilities, and have that true enterprise service management solution. So I appreciate, Brian, you spending time with us, digging into the actual product and showing some use cases today.
Thanks for having me, David. Happy to do that.
Yeah. Great. Well, everybody, if you want to submit more questions or follow up, info@flycastpartners.com. We also have a YouTube channel where we're putting out more and more best practices content around service management and as well as AI now. So I appreciate everyone who logged in today, and I wish everyone a beautiful day.